I really can't stress the importance enough of getting a competent therapist. I just saw mine today, and time and time again, I'm impressed and happy with the words of advice and the direction that I'm getting told to go down, and the little tips and all of that sort of stuff that I'm receiving that I'm not getting from any other place. I've read a bunch of self-help books and done a bunch of different things, and don't get me wrong, it's amazing and it's great, and there's a lot of little things in there that can help you to sort of little upticks, but far and away having someone there just to say, hey, I'm dealing with this, and for them to come with that expert perspective back and say, have you tried this? This has worked for other people in the past. This is what the theory says. Try it. And, on my end, to actually try their advice and then to see some results and for it to work and all that sort of stuff. It's very positive and it feels good. As you know, it's taking me years and years and many different therapists to finally feel comfortable and settled in one that I actually trust and whose advice has, really started to shift the needle. And it really scares me because in the past, prior to sort of getting onto this sort of self-improvement stint that I've been on for years now, when I was a teen, I tried a few different therapists and found no results, real good results. And it would have been very easy to consider that what I thought of them or what I thought of their therapy was everything that therapy had to offer. Yeah, so I had a couple of just not that great therapists, maybe not incompetent, but just not good for me. And it didn't work. And I got worse, and I stopped seeing them, and a whole bunch of other issues. That I'm glad that I was able to move past that and not sort of consider that to be the whole of therapy, because it means I would be without the help that I'm currently receiving now, which is quite useful. So the point I'm trying to say is if you've had a bad experience with a therapist, either because they were incompetent, bad practiced, or it just didn't work for you, doesn't mean you should discount all therapy and all options. Keep trying. Keep trying, and, be as open and honest as possible with your therapist and do your best to follow their advice and their guidance. Does that make sense? And if you're not sure, and if you don't trust it, or if you think you're not going to do a particular thing, tell them why. Well, I just can't do that, and that might help break it down a bit more. I look at like a personal trainer. I've had a few personal training few personal training sessions, and I'm a notoriously bad client for a personal trainer because I feel very independent. And some of the things that have sort of turned me off personal trainers was that they were wanting me to do exercises that I just didn't feel comfortable. Either I didn't feel safe doing them, or they were pushing me to a level of physicality that was way, way, way further than I felt safe doing. I didn't feel safe mentally pushing that hard. It would just be too much. So I stopped getting that personal trainer to see me, right? Because I was sort of here and they pushed up here, whereas what they should have done was sort of edge me up to that level of physicality, guide me through that process. I think the same thing's true for the psychologists. Either they don't push you at all and you stay here, or they push too hard and you freak out and it's too much. A good one will work with you slowly. So for me, sort of ironically, because I recommend it to people, is I was suggested now to try open and honest writing therapy, as in get a piece of paper when I'm feeling these thoughts. We talked about what would trigger the need to do this therapy, but basically when I feel this particular way in my mind, to get a piece of paper and write honestly, write brutally honestly, and write until I no longer feel the need to write. And then reread over it in a few days and have a look at that and go, well, that's how I felt then, but how do I feel about it now? And sort of make little corrections, and then do that again in a few days. And sort of the idea is sort of looking at how I'm feeling in that anxious moment, and then sort of reprocessing it, rewriting it, and sort of re-looking at it. And I've done that before, and it's painful and it hurts, but I know it feels good. And this session has been a good little kick in the butt to remotivate me to do it again. So, yeah, I will obviously keep you updated with how I go with that. And all I want to say is if you're struggling, or even if you're not struggling, just see a therapist. It really does help to sort of de-stress. One final thing was I posted something on Twitter about the tweet doesn't matter, but it was basically this person came back saying that they feel like they've got issues despite not having any real stresses. And I think the thing is like you can look at your own life and not realize you've got stress because it's normal for you. Whereas when you look at other people's lives and you look at what they're dealing with, you're like, man, I couldn't handle that because their stress isn't normal to your stress, right? So you might look at my life and go, far out, I couldn't handle these things that he's dealing with. But I could look at yours and think the same. And I might not think I've got stress, you might not think you've got stress, but we both do. It's just that we're used to our version of stress. Once again, if that might be happening to you, you might not be realizing it. It might be a bit of a blind spot. If that's the case, it would be ideal to speak to a therapist, deconstruct, and hope you just feel better in your own skin. So, please, comment below. Let me know your experiences, positive and negative, with therapy. And if this video has helped you to decide to take that step to speak to a therapist, because I can't speak more highly of finding a good one. Have a good one.